I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Great
Roll
job.
call.
Jenny David.
Here.
Roger Mayhew.
Yes.
Charles Wiltie.
Here.
Brenda Simmons.
Here.
Craig Scott.
Here.
Approval of the agenda. Any additions or corrections, commissioners?
I have an addition.
Go ahead.
I'd like to add medical education affiliation agreement.
Under discussion items,
Yes, please.
medical education.
Affiliation agreement.
Okay. Anything else? Did you have something, Commissioner Simmons?
Just a minute.
Okay.
No, I do not. I just want to make sure it was on there. We're good. I'm good. Thank you.
Public comment in the room? Public comment on the phone? Appointments, Tom Spencer? Tom, are you on the line?
Yeah. I uploaded information into your iPads. Hopefully you guys had a chance to look it over, but basically I'm presenting a change in our phone service from AT&T to Spectrum for most of our locations. The only exception that will be is that currently has AT&T that can't transition to another provider is Transit. There's just no other option out there right now. We went with AT&T because the previous provider discontinued service to us and they were basically reselling their service. So we transitioned to a full AT&T. Our contract is up. It's been reliable service, but we've had some issues with them. And I did some price shopping and found pretty good deal, really. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we have the charter service already. So it's basically kind of a bundle. The Spectrum service would be a month to month instead of a year agreement. And hopefully you guys had a chance to review the approximate savings. But the difference being is AT&T charges us a similar cost per line as Spectrum would, but AT&T also has an additional fee on top of that for long distance and permanent calling. And then the taxes and surcharges for AT&T were not included in that $33, whereas everything is included with Spectrum for $29.99 per line per month.
Yeah, it was a pretty big savings.
Good.
And it's a 1-year contract?
With AT&T, yes, and that would only be for Transit. The Spectrum would be month to month.
Yeah, you said that, I'm sorry.
Yep, it's good.
I was surprised by the amount of long distance outgoing on there. There's quite a. We were getting charged from AT&T, eh?
We are, and a lot of I think with the district court, the number of outgoing long distance calls is probably the attorneys. Some people still prefer fax, and the correctional facility, I think probably most of it is the medical, because I know she does fax quite a bit down to, I think it's Dr. Natoli. I've had issues where she's had problems faxing and things like that, but it seems like the most problems that I have with faxes at the jail is in medical. So I imagine that's the bulk of the calls because of most of the issues that we've had.
So if we go with a month-to-month a month-to-month, how long does this actual, these prices? Good for?
I don't imagine they would change.
Okay.
That's a good question.
That's right.
However, the city of West Branch, I looked at their stuff too, and obviously it's no secret I do work for them. They've been locked into these same prices for quite some time. And it's actually them that I confirmed that the $29.99 is included with the taxes and surcharges and everything.
Questions for Tom?
Thank you, Tom.
No, I read it. Looks good.
You guys agreement to this? It's a pretty big savings. He put all the information on there. Thanks, Tom. Anything else?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Randy Booth, Equalization Director. Didn't see Randy here. Is he supposed to be here?
He was. You've got on the iPad the L4029 that he'll need signed, and this is something you do every year, just approving or recognizing what the millage rates are. And you will need the chair's signature and the clerk, so we can easily put this up for resolution next week. But it's just a standard form that you have to do every year.
It's not for each millage, it's just for the
Operation.
the general operational, correct?
Yeah, here's where I wish Randy were here. I think there are two forms you'll end up having to sign. But they're all the same thing. They all 4029, just reporting to the state, and we're signing off on them for their accuracy.
Questions? It's on here.
No, this is what we have to do every year.
Questions?
Standard stuff, I guess, right?
That's all we get.
Anything else to add to this, Tim?
Not for me.
Okay. Mike Bowers, Emergency Medical Coordinator updates. Come on up, Mike. Thanks for being here.
No, thanks for having me. How are you guys all doing tonight?
Did you skip?
Oh, she's not on mine.
Huh?
She's not on my, oh, I'm sorry. I picked up one. I'm sorry, Denise. I picked up the one in the back. I'm sorry.
When did that get updated?
I'll
I just
try to be
picked
short
up-
and sweet.
Yeah, I know, that's what I put down. Those are the ones I.
It's on the one on the iPad now. I'll grab you next, Denise. I apologize.
That's fine.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So, I have several things I want to talk about, but no actions needed from you guys tonight. So our public alerting program,
What?
you know, the public alerting
Oh,
program.
learning. huh?
Yeah, you know, the Brave iPod stuff.
Right.
So we're just entering year 4 of the 5-year contract. We got the first 3 years on a grant. So we were supposed to pay it's, I think, just over 3,200 is our share of the 5 counties. But I was able at the very last minute to find a grant, and I got it paid for on a grant, so the $14,250. I'll be turning that in as soon as I get approval from EMHSD to actually pay for it, so it's not supplanting. You know, so that'll be happening this month. But anyhow, so we still might have to pay for the 5th year. But I intend to get a grant for that too. So,
Nice work.
and most of the time I get what I want. So, the CERT trailer, is coming along. The purchasing of the stuff on the credit cards has been a nightmare for myself, Tim, and Karen, all 3. At some point, all 3 of us have had headaches from it all. But I think I've got the last of it straightened out. I'm waiting for the fiduciary to come back and allow me to purchase from the next lowest bidder. So we can get our final purchase done, and that we'll do that. We have it painted now. Iosco County gave us $150 for the paint, so we painted the walls a bright white, so they will reflect lighting back off. There's no windows in it, so the shelving is built and in it, but not fastened to it yet because of the painting and the flooring. As far as the flooring goes, I would like to put some, you know, the snap-on laminate flooring. I have 4 boxes of it. It's 100 square feet, but I need 130 square feet. And in order to match that, that's another $130. So I would like to spend $130 to buy 2 more boxes of it. I already located it in Saginaw. I'll just go and purchase it and turn it in as a reimbursement through Tim, if you guys approve that. So you can think on that while I continue to talk. Because I do have, I've got some bad news, but before I tell you the bad news, the hazard mitigation plan grant is expected to be approved sometime over the summer by FEMA. That's a $60,000 grant for us to put together a county-wide committee in order to go through our hazard mitigations and make plans for the next 5 years. And for it to be guided by a professional hazard mitigation planner rather than just myself. I have done one completely by myself. I am capable, but the professionals do a much better job. So, and then now for the bad news. So the EMPG grant, this is the grant that reimburses you guys currently approximately 1/3 of my wages through the year. So, and it's an after the fact grant. So this fiscal year ends with the state of Michigan in September. So you guys get that reimbursement in January or February. This year, you're going to get a reimbursement of about $8,000, approximately $8,000. So, but the EMHSD just told us last Monday at the regional meeting that we should expect the following year, the next year, for that to be as much as a 50% cut of the reimbursement to the county due to funding problems. FEMA cut their funds by $1.1 million, and the whole trickle down thing. So, and then essentially that's going to equate to about $4,000 that you're not going to see reimbursed 18 months from now. So the state is already working on getting this problem corrected from within, and MEMA, the Michigan Emergency Management Association, is also working on it separately, and then both organizations are working on it together in order to solve this financial issue through state Congress. Michigan is the only state that does not actively contribute to the emergency management operations at the state level. So, and they're working at trying to make that happen. So, that's it. That's all I have.
So we could,
Oops, go ahead.
I'm sorry, it could be stuck for $8,000 if it doesn't come through.
Four.
Oh, 4.
4,000.
Okay.
Do we
So-
know where that money will come from?
That'll be a 25 budget year issue, and no clue yet.
That was, yeah, because that'll be, that reimbursement will come in January, February of 26, right? Yeah, 24 now. So yeah, January, February of 26 is when that reimbursement. And for all we know, they will have the situation solved by the time we get there.
Yeah.
But they wanted me to know so I could make sure that you guys knew. Some counties, have a much higher stake at that.
State might get a little less.
I know our financial situation. I know, I mean, that's why I made it a point to come and talk to you guys about wanting to spend $130. So,
Yeah, we appreciate it.
so, any questions, thoughts,
Commissioners?
comments?
We got training programs coming up soon.
Yeah, I've got two significant exercises. We spent the spring doing a lot of work for search and rescue, getting nationally certified. June 23rd, we are doing our first search and rescue exercise. It's a regional exercise. It's being held at the fairgrounds in Mayo, because I can get the entire fairgrounds at no cost. And we're going to try everything from our logistics, planning, and tactical, using the trailer, and all the way down to using dogs and horses and people on the ground to try to find items that I'll have hidden throughout I think it's 15 or 20 acres. So, and when I say hidden items, I'm talking like a shoe here or a scarf there, maybe a baseball cap. They're not going to be easy to find, and they're going to have to use their skills with their compasses and their GPSs in order to plot things. So,
When is that
and-
exercise, please?
I'm sorry?
When is that exercise going to take?
It's going to be June 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You guys are all welcome. I don't know what you'll get out of it. This is our first time doing something like this. So what we expect to get out of it is a really big learning curve. So we expect to really probably mess lots of parts of it up.
Yeah.
Well, I
So,
got,
I mean,
I
but
got a
that's,
chance to get a shoe
Yeah.
or a hat if they
Yeah.
find it, right?
yeah. So,
Okay.
but everybody's everybody's game for it. They're really excited, pumped up about it. It's a Sunday morning and early afternoon, and they're excited to be doing it. Currently, I have all of our volunteers up in Mayo right now, for tonight, tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday for the Nor'easter Folk Festival that they have every year up there. So all the volunteers are up there right now. They're doing security during the daytime. They've hired in security for nighttime. That's not proper for us. I brought in a cache of 800 radios from EMHSD and ordered a special event channel. And then we've shared that with fire, EMS, and police up there. So they don't have to be inside the venue to have eyes and ears inside the venue. We can communicate directly with them and have them arrive if and when anything is, needed. So that way they, just like everybody else, manpower is low and they don't have to have manpower at the facility as long as we're there. So I was up there earlier today getting out all of our stuff set up. Our electronic signs are in. And we're using one of them to welcome everybody and tell them that our location is the first aid station and the child check-in registration station for the weekend. And we are using our new solar powered electronic generators to charge and run that sign and to charge all of the batteries for the radios for the weekend, which is kind of sort of a trial dry run for if we were on an emergency. These are the way we would function operations without electricity during that period of time, other than gas generators, of which when the trailer's done, we'll have that capability also. So,
Thank you. Anything else for Mike?
oh, really important. August 12th is an active shooter exercise. And I really encourage anybody, any of you guys that can make it to this, to be able to make it to it. It's at Whitmer Prescott High School. The first round starts at 9, 11, and then 1. And we go through 3 rounds of an active assailant. It's involving, oh gosh, so many entities from Ogemaw, Aranac, Iosco counties, and then state police and EMHSD and the American Red Cross and the school systems from both Ogemaw County and Iosco County. I mean, we've been doing this event for 4 years now, and our average attendance at this event is 75 to 100 people. It is the largest exercise in northeastern Michigan. So, and I encourage you guys to, anybody that wants to come, either participate, you can be a victim, you can just watch. They'll put you in a corner someplace and you can just watch what happens and see how it all plays out.
What day of the week is that?
I'm sorry?
What day of the week is that, August 12th?
It is a Monday.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's a real biggie and we're gearing up for that. And then August 24th, I am doing an emergency preparedness expo. We did it last year. We did it by county last year, each of the counties. We had a variety of attendance from the public at each of them. So this year we decided to combine everybody together and just do the one. It's going to be much larger. It's going to be at the Rose City Park. We just went to the venue today and decided where everything is going to be. I'm hoping to have about 15 fire trucks, 5 or 6 law enforcement vehicles, and at least 2 or 3 ambulances there, along with MSU and EMHSD and the hospitals and just, I mean, there's just a huge assortment of people out there with capabilities to respond to an emergency for the public to see. Hopefully, I don't have them confirmed yet, but I'm working to get 2 helicopters. I want to fly in flight care out of Saginaw in the morning between 10 and noon, and then between noon and 2. I'm trying to fly in the U.S. Army Special Operations Unit out of Southern Michigan. I already work with them. We already work and train together in this region. They are actually one of our assets. So, and they're always looking for an excuse to fly. That's a Black Hawk. It's
Yeah, so
really cool.
when they fly in, let's say these Black Hawk fly in, where do they fly into?
So they will fly to the Rose City Park. I will land them with an LZ right there at the venue.
I would imagine
I would imagine.
So they need 100 by 100 feet, and I can do that easy. So the medical helicopter needs 75 by 75, so obviously I can do that really easy.
Okay,
So,
Right in the baseball field.
yeah, well, actually, no, where the bottom of the hill. So you're familiar with the park. So on the north end of the park, going along Houghton Creek, they've got a walkway. So on the south side of that walkway is where we're going to park all the vehicles. And then to the north of that, on the east end, they have another circled section. So anybody with canopies and tents or just tables will set up over in that area. I want to put a DJ out there, just not loud music, just for an atmosphere. And we're gonna do hot dogs and chips up at the pavilion. And we're just gonna try to pull people and their families in to
that's August
see what's
24th.
available to them during the disaster, during bad times. Let them know that, their government is working for them.
Absolutely.
I think it's terrific. That's August 24th.
It's August 24th.
I'd like to see that.
So, and of course, it's no admission. It's free to anybody who comes.
Free hot dogs too?
I'm sorry?
Free hot dogs too?
Yes, yes. So Myers is one of my partners, and getting a couple hundred hot dogs and the fixings and some chips from Myers should be no problem. So,
I think that's great. I think that's great that you're having this so that people can see
yes.
what's available.
We did it last year. We did it in each county separately. We had a really good turnout in Aranet County. We had almost 250 people came and saw it there. We had just under 100 people in Ogemaw County. I didn't have everything set up in Iosco County yet at that time a year ago. So we didn't do anything in Iosco, but Oscoda County, we did it at the fairgrounds, and anybody who's familiar, the fairgrounds is a mile north of M55 or M3372. So therefore, I think we had 30 people come to that one. So he said it's a central location right on M33. We're really expecting this in Rose City to really be a big deal. I'm shooting for 1,000 people, and I'll be tickled to death if we get 500.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Remind us of that. August 24th.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me put it on my calendar.
I will. I'll make sure that I get an email out to you guys or something. Actually, I intend to get with Tim to get a complete email list of all of the entities in the county because of the hazard mitigation plan. I would really like all of the townships to participate in the planning process, so they understand the planning process and they understand what's going to be available to them because of this. So this opens up grant capabilities for the county and the townships also, individually, if the township wants to pursue something without tying the county into that grant. So.
Thanks. Nice job. Nice work. Anything, Tim? You have nothing to add? Okay.
No.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You all have a great night.
You too.
Also.
You too. Denise? Sorry, I bypassed you.
So much for being short and sweet.
That's short for you, right?
I'm glad you said it.
It was.
Okay, equalization was going through the records for non-taxable property and came across the parcel that the county owns that we didn't know.
Well, again.
Hey. more of this.
How does
So-
this happen? Because didn't you do a check?
But when I checked for property under Ogemaw County, and for some reason, this was under the Ogemaw County Housing Commission.
Oh,
So this property was given to the county by Albert Griesig back in 1923.
Oh, my gosh.
The property is a triangular piece at the corner of Pettit and State. Bennett's own it right now.
Really?
Mhm. It makes sense that that might be a clear vision area for the road commission. But the question is, why didn't they deed it to the road commission at that point? So I don't know, you both sit on the road commission board, right?
Yeah.
If you want to check and see if this property is within their clear vision
Yeah.
site. If not, why don't we see if Bennett's want to buy it?
How much, what it was?
1.16 acres.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
It's huge.
Could I take that? I need to take that anyways. I could get on that.
There's information for each one of you on where it's located, when we initially received it.
It's right by me.
Thank you.
1923. And usually if it was given for a school district, it would have been deeded to the school district, and there's usually a disclaimer on there that states that when it is no longer being used for a school, that it reverts back to the.
So was there a
Property owner.
schoolhouse there back in 1923?
I
There
don't
was one on
remember ever seeing any type of
Henderson Lake Road is-
foundation.
So this is a field surrounding it and Bennett's own that field now?
Mhm. It was Griesicks for a while, and then it was somebody.
$35.
Kleiner.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then Kleiner.
Bill
Kleiner.
Kleiner. Bill Kleiner, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sold it
Kleiner.
to Bennett Farms.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
okay,
Any more properties we need to know about?
Thank you.
not that I'm aware of. But I figure we can, deal with it. And
How'd you come across this?
Equalization was going through all of their non-taxable properties. And they came up with that one and they couldn't find any information on us. They brought it over and we researched it and finally found the deed back in 1923.
It's just weird because I wonder how Bennett's would have purchased that properties.
It
And
was
this
an
one-
exception. It was an exception in their property when they purchased. So they own all of it except that
Because that had a
318 on Pettit Road, 318 on State Road, and then I think it's 800 and something across.
because that hasn't been that awful long ago that at that time this wasn't resolved. When they purchased it from Kleiner's.
It was just an exception. So they bought everything except that. And their deed shows that
Oh, I see what you're saying.
they
Okay.
bought all of it except that property.
This is they're farming it now, correct?
Yeah, it's been farmed since
an
I can
acre.
remember.
Well,
It's an acre. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Driven by it how many times?
I'm right, that's what I'm thinking. Is there like, okay, thank you, ma'am.
Could you know money?
Did you have something you added there, here?
Yeah.
No, okay, that's under discussion items.
Hey.
Discussion items A, fiscal year 2025 budget fee schedule.
We've got a proposed fee schedule on the iPads. The changes are in red, and the only changes are in the building inspections department. And you can see Brian has suggested some updates. Pretty much the biggest one, I would go down to the basements where they would be unfinished would be increasing from 5 cents a square foot to 15, and the finished basement from 10 cents a square foot to 20. The other changes, and I put that in quotes, what he's attempting to do, I believe, is just be consistent for like plan review fees so that they would all be $50 and he's not jumping around. The others are, again, the square footages on the homes and the additional about 5 cents per square foot on the manufactured mobile and modular homes. There is also a permit extension fee that he's asking to increase from $35 to $50 and a residential demolition fee from $55 to $100. Re-roofing permit, I believe they're already charging, but it wasn't on our fee schedule. And that's the $90. And otherwise, I didn't get any other requests from the other departments, but just in past, particular, I'm remembering some of these planning and zoning fees, they were added mid-year, and that's fine. But this just gives our departments a foundation when they start putting together budget requests. So when building inspections, when they anticipate the number of permits that they need, they can estimate their revenue from that.
Does this have the increase in the planning and zoning that we just approved? It does?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions, comments? Commissioner Wiltie? Commissioner Scott?
Well, I don't see the justification for some of this stuff. I'm probably not gonna vote for it, but.
Give us your opinion.
I just pulled a demolition permit for $55. Thank gosh, I got it in there in time. But to go on $100, I mean, 55 pays for somebody to come out and take a look at it demolished. That's basically what we're trying to do, is cover the cost of them going out to take a look at it. It's demolished. re-roof permit. Is this to say that there is not a re-roof permit cost now?
Say it was not on the resolution we approved last year or the year before that or the year before that.
Cause I've had to roof houses and I've had to pull a permit.
Why do you have to get a permit for that?
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta get a permit for everything anymore. And this is kind of, and I don't wanna get too in depth with this, but you know, people pay so much money in taxes already for services automatically. You know, they prepay for services and then there's a lot of services they don't use. And building department is one of them they don't use a lot of, but they're still paying for that service.
Just clarify, this department is its own fund, and this is the only revenue is from permit fees that they receive. You don't put any general fund money into that.
We don't because they generate enough, but if they don't generate enough, we have to make up our mind whether or not we're gonna take from the general fund to pay
Right.
for it.
Right.
Their fund balance is pretty good, correct?
It's healthy.
It's healthy, yes, it is, and building is still going on.
So,
This is another reason why I don't know that we're gonna need to do this.
so I guess if it's healthy, then why these increases? Not that I'm disagreeing with them, I just wonder.
That would be a question for the director. I don't know what went into his thinking.
Do you want to ask him in person do you want to invite him to the meeting before we vote on this?
Yeah. This is not urgent, so if you want to delay this till the next round and then have
Why
it
don't we
come
do
into the
that?
next Cal meeting.
I don't have a problem with that.
It's on me.
Sure.
You guys okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't disagree with you. People are financially, I'm surprised building is still continuing, but it seems to be. Okay, transit director.
We are in the process of recruiting again. I added just this afternoon, the actual ad that we put out for the director. And thinking back to the other two who ended up declining the job, that salary rate we put right in there, it's at 46,735 to 58, 612, depending on qualification and experience. The two who declined the job said, in effect, that wasn't enough. This fits just fine with our structure within the organization, but I don't necessarily want to just close the door on that. If you feel that needs to be increased, we could certainly do that, but I don't recommend it. I think this range is just fine for Ogemaw County.
Were they offered the higher end of that range?
Well, the first one came back and said the higher is not going to be enough. She would need more. And the second person that turned it down said it just wasn't enough for what we're asking the person to do. It was just that vague. So I don't want to, just unilaterally close the door on that. If you feel we need to take another look at that, we certainly can. But like I said, I don't think that's out of the question. I think this is a good range for our county.
As the chairman on the transit committee board, I think we all are very firm on the fact that it's time to move forward with some new leadership out there. I think it's very vital that that happens sooner than later. And I'm okay with giving another chance. I mean, obviously, I'm very disappointed what happened with the first round, but it's time. We're moving, we've done a lot of good things out there this last year, and we need just to keep moving forward and get the best candidate we can. And I think if we see it again come back where that's the issue, then we'll have to discuss it. But we really got to keep the throttle down on this and keep moving this forward.
It's posted currently, correct?
It is, and we'll update. You'll start seeing it on the MAC webpage again. They post it for 30 days. We go to the MDOT site again. I've gotten some feedback on other areas that we can direct mail this to do our own recruiting. And of course, we're going to hit the Indeed hard again. Let's see what we got.
Any applicants currently?
No. No, but it's early. I'm not discouraged yet.
Anything, Commissioner Simmons, you're on the board as well. Do you have anything to add to this?
Well, I guess I look at the qualifications and I'd have to do some research on that salary before I say yay or nay or anything on that. I have not. But, I'd have to look into it further before I can say one way or another, yes. It's efficient? No, it's not efficient, and I haven't done that yet.
It's posted, so anybody that applies knows what the salary is, so.
And right, so I mean, it is what it is right now, but
I
Okay,
guess,
anything else? Go
I
ahead.
guess I gotta expound on your question. Was there a number given to that person?
Yes,
yes,
Mhm,
prior
yeah.
to interviewing.
No, I don't mean a
Oh,
range.
it's-
I mean a specific number given to her.
Well, she came back to 10 and said our first candidate that we accepted, that even the high end is not acceptable.
Right, but I mean, you came here and you asked for a vote, we voted to go ahead and hire him. At that point, was there a number said to her that this is what the job is starting at?
She was given the range exactly as you see here.
Yeah,
And no, we did not say this is where you're going to start. The reply after the offer letter went out was,
okay,
I need more money and I need more vacation immediately and a number of other points.
all right. I just wondered if there was an average, there was a number someplace in between, or
Mhm.
like Jenny said, was it on the high end? There was no number quoted
Right.
specifically.
So the big thing now with jobs seems to be negotiation, which I dislike, but if you offer this a candidate the lower end of this and they decline it, then does this range give you room to come back with another offer? Okay,
Absolutely. And of course, it would come back to this table before that firm offer is given. So if a candidate were to come in and say, gosh, I'd like to start at the 4-year rate, I would be right back here getting your authorization.
okay.
But the nice thing for you is you've got that range to work within as well. So that's where we start. And we don't go lower than this. If, for instance, Commissioner Simmons comes back in 2 weeks and said, well, maybe we should think about this range. You can do that as long as it's not less.
Right.
We can still work with
This
that.
gives you some room for negotiation.
Right.
Which seems to be a popular thing nowadays. Any questions on it?
No.
Keep us posted, guys.
Yep.
Item C, sheriff call-in pay status report. Is there an update on this? You guys just had a meeting, correct? Anything become of this that you guys would like to discuss?
We can discuss, or we can have the sheriff.
I mean, how the current status is the question. We're in a good status, is what has been reported to us. We have not, is not into any type of an abuse or anything like that as of now.
what's good status?
This coming Monday would be 2 weeks, and as of right now, what we received is it's going very well.
Are we paying for the people being on call? Are we paying
Sheriff, do you want to come up?
3 hours when they go on call? Are we what? I know absolutely nothing.
No, me neither. Sheriff, come on up. Can you give us an update?
Everything's going well. We're going in 2 weeks. If in fact there is a glitch in the system is going to be jerked away. The calls are not going unanswered. We're not getting a lot of activity in our night shift right now, so which is good. There's two reasons why we're doing it right now is because we don't have the personnel right now. We're in the process of trying to find some good candidates to fill in 2 spots that we have available.
How many personnel do you have?
And I'd have to get my roster out, but
I can tell you how many you
how
have.
many you got?
Right now you have 9.
Okay. I'd have to sit and count them, but anyway, another big reason why we're doing it too is to reduce our overtime. Right now, I've got a deputy that is on leave for military. He'll be gone for 2 weeks. That would have created 80 hours of overtime to fill that slot.
I don't understand how does your schedule work? I mean, how do you schedule them? Because I can't even see it in my wildest dreams here,
Well,
the overtime.
when they get called out, they'll be called up for the 3 hours overtime, but that's not happening. We're not being called. Right now with the way the meeting is set up right now, I'm not at liberty to tell you what my schedule is because I want everybody to know what we're doing.
Well, maybe we should go into closed session.
The element of surprise is got to work for the police officers. I don't want nobody hurt. I don't
Well,
want them
definitely a
hurt.
surprise to all of us.
Hold on, Tim, I thought we had access to schedule if we requested it. Is that not correct?
You could, I respect the sheriff's point, though, he doesn't want to publicly distribute the schedule. As far as the closed session issue is concerned, this isn't something that would qualify to do closed session. So, you know, we had just a brief, glimpse at that 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, whatever that was. We pretty well know where those hours are, but yeah, so as far as actually displaying the actual schedule, I would have to defer to the sheriff's judgment on that. I would have to agree that that's probably not something we want to publicly circulate.
It's there. I mean, anybody can come and look at it for sure.
I think
Now-
to answer one of Brenda's questions is, they are not being paid as they are home waiting for a call.
No, they are not.
Okay, they're only paid
When
if
they're
the
called
call
out,
comes
if-
in,
If they're called out.
if they're called out. That I
Yeah.
think was
Who
one
calls
of,
them out?
Dispatch will call an individual and we'll make a judgment call on that. So, I really, Brenda, I don't want to get into it because of, safety issues with my people in the public. My door is open. You come and see me and I will fill you in 100% what's going on, but I don't
I
want to
won't.
publicize what I'm doing because
I'm sorry, go ahead, and then I have something.
not only are good people listening to this conversation here, we got criminals listening too. So, and I want to protect my people and the general public.
I hear you and I understand that. My concern is that the millage did just pass. The public does have a right to know, and they are paying for 24-hour road patrol.
We're getting 24 hours. Things are getting covered. The calls are being covered. You gotta-
They have a right to know that. They have a right to know what
Absolutely
they're
they
paying
do.
for.
And they can come in anytime.
My other question is school is out. So those are two officers.
Right.
We were down two positions
Yep.
prior to school getting out.
Yeah.
School is out, so now we have those
They're
two
on a
officers.
rotation schedule too. They're on the schedule.
So hold on, because you just said we were down two officers. I understand the one's off for 2 weeks for military. We were down two spots, but those two resource officers are now filling those two spots. So we're not currently down two spots, correct?
We are down. We're down the individual that went to Lansing, and then we're down the other individual that recently stepped down from his position. So we're down two there.
Right,
Excuse me.
and go ahead.
The 9 that I said that are there includes those 2 RSO officers. So the school's out now.
Correct,
So now they have 9.
okay.
And that includes the 2 that were over the schools.
So do you have an estimate, just so the public is aware? Do you have an estimate for them before you get 24-hour road patrol back on the roads?
We just interviewed 2 people Monday and Wednesday. So as soon as we can fill in positions, you gotta realize that every law enforcement agency in the state of Michigan and beyond are down police officers, and obviously we're getting the brunt of that also. No fault to anybody other than there just isn't the interest to be in this business. So when we find the correct person, we will definitely move forward.
Questions?
We just finished law enforcement meeting.
It went real well. I think.
Yeah.
So,
Commissioner Scott?
things are being handled and taken care of.
and when we talk about this particular subject, I think we covered it we covered it well. We understand the sheriff's points on how much is explained. We're being covered. We addressed the school resource officer issues. He does have a military leave coming up, and then you have a maternity leave that's possibly coming up.
Yeah, that's coming up.
And at that point, we're not even sure on how long that may last.
Yeah,
And then, of course, hey, it's summertime and there's gonna be vacations. There's just going to be. I
and we're
mean,
doing everything possible
you know,
to,
kids are out of school and their parents and they're gonna wanna do that. So, I think that, we've asked for accountability. He's proven to us, I think I can say that. He's proven to us that he is handling that. And we looked at that overtime. That next subject is overtime, and we're not seeing explosive numbers on the patrol side, so.
Commissioner Simmons, do you have anything?
No.
Commissioner Mayo?
No.
Tim?
Listen, we're doing the very best we can do.
I understand, but we're also out there in the public and they're asking us, is there 24-hour road patrol trying to give open and honest answers? Especially when that millage was just passed. I'm just hoping that this is a temporary thing. You're able to get fully staffed so we can give people open and honest answers.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
May 2024 overtime / compensatory time report.
Yeah, that one.
I couldn't say that. I couldn't say.
I could try again.
So at the end of May, we're at 66.7%, roughly 2/3 of the way through the fiscal year. And on the very first page of that report, you can see in most of our categories, we are in that ballpark, but with the exception of the corrections where that overtime is already hit 87% of what's budgeted. I do know the undersheriff has been working pretty hard over this last week with the budget for corrections and has made some suggested adjustments. So when we do the third quarter adjustments, because this is a personnel item, you will see it on that agenda. Right now, he's got enough room to maneuver within the other lines to make up where we believe the trend is going to take us with the overtime. But obviously, anything could throw that into chaos at any time, but at least it's being worked. It's not something that's going to be left for the end of the year. The other items that you see on this report, you've seen them all before. You've got the roster and you can see where the accruals are, where they sit. You see the graphs, and there really isn't any change in the trends that we've seen in those graphs and how they're, in most cases, pretty much ahead of prior years. I did add another graph just to diverge from this for just a second. I added it this afternoon on the jail inmate population. You've got about 2.5 years worth of data on that graph. It's broken out so that you can tell in the blue color, those are the Ogemaw County inmates. In the orangish color, that's the inmates that are not from Ogemaw County. And you can see where that trend is. The trend is down. It's down about 25% in this, that be 24, about 30-month period that you see, which again, gets back to some of the conversation that we've had preliminarily about what are we going to do about this? This is definitely a trend that we can't sustain from a budget standpoint. And again, coupled with where you see the overtime headed, it's not going down. So you'll see over the next a few weeks in particularly, I'm going to get pretty aggressive on other options that'll be available to us. And I think it's important to start that now because we can't wait until September and then try to implement something. Yes, we are going to work on the fiscal year 25 budget, but where are we going to land? And you need good hard data to work with. This is extremely important to know where our inmate population is, because if we are going to do other options or consider other options, we're going to need to know these numbers so that we can get an idea of what cost might be for an alternative plan, perhaps using facilities in another county. So this is very helpful. I do appreciate the work that went into getting this data over to me. But now the heavy lifting starts, and I do expect, if not at the next committee of the whole, the following one, to have some very firm choices for you to start considering. It's not urgent necessarily that you make the choice immediately, but it's coming. It's coming rapidly. I mean, in June, I'm getting nervous about it because I know what we've got in front of us. So the idea there, having that option in front of you so that you can weigh that versus continuing the status quo, we can make some projections for future years where this is headed and make a good educated decision about what direction we should go.
Was this just put on here?
It was just this afternoon.
I was gonna say, I didn't see
Just got
this
it
last
finished
night. Okay.
up, and literally you have every day for each of these months represented in these graphs, so you can really get an idea of how the ebbs and flows have been working. In 2022, an interesting thing, we had 53 days where we had more inmates from outside of the county than we had of our own. And that was at the tail end of COVID. I know we had a couple of our neighboring counties to go through some shutdowns, and we had extra inmates from that. But as you can see in our current fiscal year, our population for the Ogemaw County inmates, we're averaging about 37 a day. You know, it's 37 in a jail with a capacity of 144. So, you know, clearly that's something that we've got to take into consideration. I'm giving you ranges as well. We've had a low day of 29 and a high day of 51 this year, but that trend is really stark as you compare these year to year of where it's headed. We are right now at 1.9 Ogemaw County inmates to every one inmate from outside. So almost 2 to 1 are ours at the moment. But again, we come down to now, okay, it's nice to see all this and we're providing all these services, but can we sustain these costs? And I think we know the answer is we can't, you know, on the current trends. So what do we do about it? That's where I hope to take you over the next few weeks. So you can kind of weigh some other options and kind of make a determination of what's going to be the best outcome for us.
Comments, questions?
No,
Mr. Scott?
he's explaining it very well. Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else on this?
Thanks, Jim.
May budget report.
You can see it, it's there for your information right now. Trying to make sure that you see that once a month. We will go through at the end of June, the third quarter adjustments. So it will be a bigger item on the agenda the first week of July, the first meeting of July. This is the same budget that the departments see to monitor and hopefully make some adjustments internally before we get to the third quarter adjustments. So that work is a little less burdensome for the board.
Anything really sticking out to you?
Just the usual issues that we see. Of course, we're always nervous watching things like food prices at the jail, but you know, it's looking like it's being kept in check, at least for now. But there aren't any that really are standing out as you know, potential issue. But I'll get into that deeper first round of July.
Comments, questions?
I have none.
I have none.
Commissioner Simmons? Mr. Mayhew?
No.
Medical Education Affiliation Agreement, Commissioner Wiltie?
This was brought to us in the law enforcement meeting. When the sheriff brought that to us, and Tim, do you want to?
Yeah, they provided a copy of the document that's been proposed. This would be an agreement that would be with Michigan State University. And what they would do is send students up to shadow the medical staff at the jail, part of their program at Michigan State. We've done this before. I think the last time we did it was with Saginaw Valley, if I'm not mistaken. Very similar type of a format. The school will provide the insurance for the students who are here, $1 million per occurrence, $3 million in aggregate. You know, it seems adequate. I will put this in front of the county attorney before your meeting next week, so we'll have that input to work with as well. But again, I would just want to emphasize that this isn't new to us. It just was late getting here, so it had to be a late add to this agenda.
The current medical individuals that are on board with this?
They would be actually signing off on it as well.
Thank you. Commissioner comments? Any guys? Commissioner Scott?
Sometimes, I guess the only thing I'd say is like speaking with the sheriff. Charlie and I are able to sit on a committee just like two other commissioners sit on committees. So because of Open Meetings Act, that's all we can do. So that means the other three commissioners, whatever committee that is, doesn't always hear everything. So sometimes questions arise from the other three, you know, just like Brenda and I sit on Parks and Rec. So Jenny, you may have a question about Parks and Rec if we may have had one of our parks managers here. So that because you don't hear everything that the committee hears, you're gonna have questions. I think that's just a natural thing.
I'd like to add to that too, if I could. Yeah, I've been here 18 months. We've been really consistent with our law enforcement meetings. I have not agreed with everything, from the sheriff department, but we've always been able to communicate. And the sheriff has been more than consistent to let us know if we need to talk to him, his door is always open, so.
Commissioner Simmons, do you have anything on it?
No.
Commissioner Mayhew? Okay, public comment? Any public comment in the room? Any public comment on the phone? 8, closed session to discuss collective bargaining under MCL 15.268(1)(c). We need a motion, correct?
Yes.
Motion.
Roll call vote.
Craig Scott,
Yes.
Brenda Simmons.
Yeah.
Charles Wiltie,
Yes.
Roger Mayhew. Jenny David.
Yes. There'll be no business after.
Night.
No.
Go home, you had a late night last night. My mom called me after. God, it wasn't too bad after I left, a half hour.
Oh, were you at Logan Township?
Motion to adjourn.
to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned. Good night, guys.
Thanks, Craig.
Sure.